And we should see Champion Select starting soon. Dig not a team to let complacency fall into their playbook here. So they're not giving up any momentum. They're going to come into this game as strong as they did, hitting the Nexus, and Rammus does grab a ban. Dignitas is doing insta-ban picks for this game.
Real quick picks and bans. So that's only 5, but Team Summon still goes for the Ezreal. So this means Diana would be available for Scar if he actually does want it in some form or fashion. I don't know if he'd pick it super early. He's going to pick it super early. Or Kiwi, you're right.
So they could swap that around. So this becomes an ambiguous pick to start, and Team Summon should know that.
And that is going to be potentially advantage Dignitas if they wait to pick their confirmation mid/top laner until the very end.
Yeah.
Since on the purple team, Dignitas has the final last pick in this one.
Let's see what they do. Yeah, usually it was a mid left sometimes. It was the top left sometimes so far. We have to see what Team Summon has for second and third pick. Recently, the 1-2 pick for Team 2 has been a very impactful strategy to really throw the team off, and they have, like we said, done so. They didn't show anything in the jungle, and they have the ambiguous first pick.
And I think Shen is still available that teams have actually been jumping into in this series and not doing that well with, because the global presence from Shen hasn't came in super strong. And I would expect a Locust to pick a Lulu since his tried and true Sona's down, unless he goes really aggressive with something like a Thresh.
Sickle Scott looking to bring Zach back. It could be going to Grim Samurai, however. We do see it switch around. We did say, or you did say rather, that Lulu was played but previously by Locust, so he's going to bring it out again.
And that is definitely the ambiguous Zach pick, because
another
it
one
was
for
jungle all the time
them.
yesterday when Quantic was playing it, and it was top lane when Grim Samurai played it in the first game defeat. They suffered at the hands of Dignitas. For Dignitas here, I think they're going to go with a Caitlyn for I'm a Cutie Pie if I really had to guess something. And then the jungler, since there's no Rammus for Crumbs, maybe... I don't know what his next fallback jungler has got to be. Yeah, Nocturne.
We'll see what they have. They have the crowd control from Sona Ultimate. They did hover the Varus for a second, so they don't necessarily need all that. It would be helpful. But yeah, the Caitlyn would be good. They could keep it safe. They have that poke damage from the Let's Bounce, and they can get back and safe. We saw it. They were able to get back onto that Zac the last time it happened.
I'm a Cutie Pie's Caitlyn's just been historically solid, and it also has good escapes, but they're going for the Graves.
Wow.
I just want to combo in the damage with the Sona ult, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely going for a quick burst on the front end of this, keeping Graves in the fight, as he's one of those AD carries that more or less wants to dive into the fight, that passive and just having a Bloodthirster. Usually in the build, Blade of the Rune can come out now, but I love Graves in fights. He's so much more aggressive than most carries.
Graves was all over the place near the end of Season 2, and he started to be seen less and less in Season 3, but it is still a very strong champion. He has tons and tons of utility in a lot of different ways. I mean, even just his collateral damage ultimate, when he's comboing it in on top for Crescendo, could do enough damage to nearly wipe a team out, which is actually going to help him reach the dive level that Nocturne's going to be going in for in Crumbs, and maybe supporting that up even without being a true dive buddy.
I really like seeing that Orianna there because, like we said, Graves wants to be a little bit closer. The attack range causes him to be closer than most of the AD carries we've been seeing lately. So we'll have to see what they choose to go with. They may lock that down. They also get the horse in, and we're going to see a Hecarim. So that is a top Zac.
So they have the circles of pain here for Team Summon as well, because they can hop in with either Hecarim or Zac and then combo it with Orianna and Lulu. I feel like the Lulu ult may or may not be used defensively if they try to dive in on them, but that is a huge amount of initiation potential, and it's a very different team comp than we've actually seen from Team Summon in either of the games. And if last game is any indication, the kind of out-of-the-blue strategy has worked for teams when they pull it off.
And how does that kind of work? I haven't seen a Let's Bounce get Lulu ulted before.
It would... So the first Let's Bounce is a slight knockaway, but the Lulu ult is a knock up as well as a slow. So it would actually help Zac continue to bounce on someone if he has the Lulu ult on, because they'll be slowed for the successive bounces that Zac is putting down on them in these team fights. So that'll probably be quite potent if they can pull it off.
All right, we'll see if they do. We get some switches around. Grim Samurai taking Orianna. No, I'm just kidding. He won't stick with that. We'll see what they have to do in this lane. So Skara facing off against an Orianna this time. Both mid laners completely fresh with these picks. Yeah. We have not seen them. We do have Crumbs back on Nocturne in the jungle, as Rammus has been banned out. So he's going very mobile in all of these jungle picks recently.
Crumbs really wants to be able to gank whoever he wants, rather than having the wards dictate to him where he ganks. Nocturne can go through wards, Rammus can go through wards, and that's really all he's played thus far in the series.
We'll see what they have to do. Graves, Sona, not really an aggressive lane. That early aggression to get a few kills under their belt. It'll obviously put them in a better spot to win this matchup, but we are into game 4, ladies and gentlemen. Rivington the third and Jat to bring it to you live in our first best of 5 of the day. Could go all the way to that. Dignitas is on game point and looking to reclaim their spot in the summer split of the North American LCS. Team Summon is looking to keep themselves in this series and for the same aspect.
And there has been some pretty impactful jungle action in all 3 of these games. First game, we saw 3 buffs taken by Dignitas. Second game, Dignitas gave up first blood. And in the third game, it was 3 buffs taken by Team Summon. So these teams definitely have been looking to do things in the past, but we have a total lineup, like high school dance. Everyone walks up to who they want to go with and just parties up, but it looks like they're moving around a bit now.
Bot lane denied a companion for the dance. Looks like they're going to actually head to the top. So we will have a bit of a meeting here in the middle. This is usually what happened, though, right? Everybody just stands there and nobody dances.
Everyone just listens to the music, watches the music video.
Let's see Locust wanting some punch. He's heading up. He wants to get some dancing in. And it's just going to be wardage right now. It looks like they will put the AD carry, possibly top side. Actually, looks like Dig's going to put them mid as they spread Lulu top and Ezreal towards the bottom. So
this could still be going.
TS.
Yeah, this could still be going in any different direction. It's the standard LCS lanes thus far, with Batoy and I'm a Cutie Pie probably just taking double golems in for the first time. There were no deep wards and no real action at level 1.
Backing off, it is even a minute 40, and we didn't have the Fog of War engagement. So helping here to Sickle Scott. Sickle Scott, as we said yesterday, had a lot of assistance in the first bloods that his team received, and he was really playing at utility, would always allow his team to get the kills. And on Hecarim, that is viable for him. He did it on Volibear yesterday, or Friday, I should say. See if he can do it again.
Yep, the junglers pretty much all getting the assistance. The only difference in that level 1 strat is Scar actually soloed the Wraiths with Diana. If you start W on Diana, you can actually get a lot of Wraith damage kill just by yourself at level 1. One of the only mid laners who's capable of doing that, and that lets him hit the early level 2, shove back Captain Korea a bit, and get some early farm on Diana.
Junglers passing mid at the same time, so it looks like we're good on that. And not an early, or not a deep ward, but Patoy puts one down and that blue exit into the jungle to keep safe.
Yeah, there was a lot of wards early on, even though they didn't put deep wards. So they didn't have vision of the junglers, which meant they wanted extended vision of what the lanes were like.
Oh, they're doing a great job on both of these 2v1s. Only 2 CS here coming in for these guys. Great poke from Locust and Otter in the bottom lane. As we said, that is going to be so harassy. And really, it's just Patoy trying to get those power chords and auto attacks down into Samurai. You can see Cutie Pie using Buckshot to farm these waves right out.
Both these guys need to make sure they don't take too much poke at the turret, since they are really on their own in these situations.
You mean like a turret shot?
Like a turret shot.
Yeah, like a turret shot. So backing off of this one, still keeping it there. Going to get a good buckshot off once he can. Lower all the minions, so it's killable and goldable.
Yeah, a lot of times the Graves lanes were so good in the 2v1s because Graves can shove really, really well. This is the fear, though. I'm a Cutie Pie needs to be able to escape something from Psycho Sid if they decide to go aggressive.
And with Crumbs being a little bit more passive at that 3-minute mark and going for the camps in the jungle, he will not be here for the counter. And he actually chooses to continuously go down. It's going to be help for Kiwi Kid.
And Kiwi Kid's doing a better job with his turret this game than he did the last one. His turret's not taking too much early damage, and Crumbs would actually be in position to cycle over there. He has enough health as well if he wants to, but we'll see if they decide to let Kiwi Kid freeze a lane again, or if they decide to play a more standard game.
Well, like you said, losing this turret didn't seem to hurt them that bad, but it is going to be a soak-up experience for Crumbs as he makes his way down. Sicko Scott looking to activate something here in mid.
Scar's got to really watch out. A lot of times Diana will get pretty aggro for creep kills, but I believe Scar knows where Hecarim is in these wards, and he's actually running up towards the back of top lane. Cutie Pie and Patoy have to watch out.
This is going to be a great spot for them to go in, but that ward just towards the Wraith side. Like we said, no deep ones, but just enough to cover the entrance as it times out shortly.
Yeah, that was a really good defensive ward by Dignitas. A lot of times you don't see teams warding their own side of the river this early on in the game, but it's really tipped them off on a lot of Hecarim movements.
See top lane getting a little pressured out. Sicko Scott going to help push the lane here a little bit as Skara actually cues the entire minion wave behind it, so they're looking to just keep this one reset. Movement in the bottom lane from Crumbs. Like we said, he's soaking up experience with Kiwi Kid. They're trying to get damage off of that turret. The global gold still in the favor of Team Summon, even if it's not the way they got a win last time.
It's still real early global gold. Being Dignitas with the 400 advantage not meaning much. It's going to really actually might be about like level 6s or really decisive dragon fights.
And again, we see the double rejuve bead coming out for Grim Samurai to the Fairy Charm consumable start coming in for Kiwi Kid for 2v1 lanes.
Yeah, Grim Samurai has been able to sustain up real well. He's sitting on 34 health regen per 5, only 5 minutes into the game with that. So if you get a shot off on Grim Samurai if you're on Cutie Pie, 10 seconds later he's healed it all up.
Cutie Pie again taking a turret shot once every so often. He's got to get his medicine to take those, being aggressive. Those AD carries are 39 to 44, so not too much discrepancy there. A little bit in mid, however. Skara able to push down that minion wave as Korea doesn't have the levels on his ball yet to really get that movement around and farm up as well.
And Patoy actually just going for a little adventure. There's no buffs on Sicko Scott right now, so still burns a flash, though, surprising.
He goes hard on this, pulls that one out. Looks like he could get first blood, but he's going to go down. There it is. They get the exhaust down. He is definitely getting out of this one. A great job coming in. He flashes, and they are going to come out with first blood for 0 kills on the side of TS. Oh, no. That's a passive. I'm too excited. Too excited. His passive was down every time for the last time he died last game, but not this time. I'm jacked.
It might have fooled out, huh? It might have fooled I'm a Cutie Pie and Patoy a little bit. Just over-aggression and like level 4 Hecarim walking into a lane. You don't expect that to do much.
Not at all. Going out to Locust. This could be first blood, but I don't think so. They lock down Otter. He gets it. The Terror does go down. It's not that melee form for Kiwi Kid yet. He cannot get in range, and we still don't have a first blood as much as I wanted it.
So, the junglers keep wanting to gank the same lanes here. Team Summon is actually pretty good here with their gold lead, 600 right now. So the lanes are getting a little bit out farm for them. And it's a little bit surprising how they've managed to come up with that lead, because I'm looking at the minion kills and it's because of the turret, because I'm missing stuff too.
Exactly.
Bam.
Game 4 coming in. It's been a long day. It's all right. We just wasted that one for the game. It's done. We got it out of the system. We'll have to see what they have here coming in. 7 minutes, 300 gold lead, a little bit from that turret coming in. And it's a very fast push for these guys. We'll see if it does hurt Dig or if they can just recoup from this one again.
I think they'll be able to recoup from this one. I mean, they've already swapped back Kiwi Kid and Grim Samurai, so we'll see if Kiwi Kid decides to deny this wave a little bit, but it's already been shoved up, so they can't. I'm a Cutie Pie and Patoy will have like a brawling advantage in this lane, even if they don't have a turret, so the only thing they need to worry about is Sicko Scott's Hecarim kicks.
So he's going to be getting blue over to Captain Korea and maybe making his way towards that top lane. As you mentioned, ganks. Doesn't really have too much to go for on the bottom side. Zach is doing good, and yeah, he will start to head towards that tri-brush.
I want to see where Crumbs goes with his Nocturne ult, if he tries to force things with it. It's actually a little bit strange how at 8 minutes into the game, we have both AD carry and support lanes up top. It really disincentivizes the Dragons. As Sicko Scott scares I'm a Cutie Pie and Patoy back. I'm a Cutie Pie and Patoy have to be very careful, by the way, because they both burned their flashes in that last set of engagements, and they are vulnerable to a potential Hecarim ult. So that's another reason Crumbs is actually up at this side of the map.
You may grab Wolves and come back for that. We just saw that Locust placed a pink ward in the forward brush, making sure, you know, Nocturne won't be there, but he's got to consider it's Nocturne as well, so he probably won't be sitting in that brush if it's a counter.
Definitely not. He's going to be sitting maybe even in the triangle brush. That's a pretty deep ward, though. Like, that pink ward being that deep is actually, they're pinging it right now. It's like, no, don't come into that brush. And that's a bit of wasted time for Crumbs, actually.
All right, so he is going to kind of sit off, waiting to see if they try to go hard on this one. Is Hecarim coming back? Can I get into this engagement? I'll do golems for now.
This could be very tense. I mean, if Sicko Scott gets a gank now, I don't think Crumbs can counter in time.
They bust into it. It's a level 4 Sona. So much damage going down. The last hit coming in. It's actually going to Otter on that one. The ult from Crumbs is going to deter this, but he's got to be careful on how hard he goes. He has no help from Cutie Pie.
Crumbs could not counter gank in time. The pink ward in the forward brush really paying off for Team Summon, allowing Sicko Scott to get in perfect position for that first blood.
Kiwi Kid, pressure there. Samurai, he's looking big already, picking up that Giant's belt. Kitty pretty much dominating that lane so far. See what Grim Samurai has for himself. The 2 rejuve beads sitting on, and he's 700 gold.
Uh-oh, I'm a Cutie Pie.
It's so close. Sicko Scott wants to go in. He did pop the ghost. He's going to be able to stay in range. There's Sona, not enough damage to come in. Crumbs is just on the backside of the turret, trying to stay in range so they can't click on him. Sicko Scott says, I got this. Don't worry about it. Double kill, but I may not make it out. Thank you for the shield.
Oh, man, what a perfectly executed dive by Team Summon. Another 2 kills for them in that lane, and those kills going to Hecarim is actually absurdly dangerous for Dignitas. People don't realize how well Hecarim actually scales in the late game once he gets some tank items.
So it happens again. Sicko Scott has a hand in first blood for his team. He gives it to the AD carry lane, but then he goes ahead and says, you know what, I want a few myself this game. Returns to top and goes at it again. 3-0 here at 10 minutes. Team Summon now with the offensive in the beginning.
So with the turret, with the kills, all the stuff going for them right now, and still haven't really burned all that much for it. There's an Orianna ult still up. Sicko Scott was there for so long that his Hecarim ult is still going to be back again. They managed to get rid of Crumbs' Nocturne ultimate threat without even having to pay for it, so there was a ping going down near Dragon just there, but it doesn't look like the teams are responding to it all that much.
It was almost like a call to let's go here and get some wards down. I pretty much think that's what they will be doing. It's probably going to be Sicko Scott to move around with somebody to get a ward, but right now it's just Kiwi Kid locking it down as he returns to the lane in the bottom, stacking up the tier against an almost Sunfire caped up Grim Samurai.
This lane is not as pleasant for Kiwi Kid this game as it was last game. Last game he got to freeze it in the back and just kind of free farm while Shen didn't feel safe enough to run out at him since the Rammus threat was so high. But the Nocturne threat, since his ultimate is off cooldown, isn't nearly as high, and the lane is also not as pushed back as it was before, so he's actually having to fight against a person this time.
Looking at the mid builds, the Chalice of Harmony coming out for Captain Korea to keep that mana up, but he also puts the ability Power Tome right in his hands as well, so he can push back on that quick blasting one, moving into an Abyssal Scepter from Skara.
So much attention getting paid to this lane, and maybe this time Dignitas would want to pull off a successful counter gank. They have the crescendo this time, which is amazing at turning around tower dives, and that's why Crumbs is trying to wait in the wings. He does not yet have his Nocturne ultimate, though. If the dive were to happen very soon for Team Summon, it's close, though.
And what is the factor of this top lane with Dragon being up right now? Why is this lane getting so much attention?
It really just seems like they want to shut down AmaCutiePie, and Otter has that Ezreal build if he really wants to get going, which has been so contested in this series.
So put CutiePie top, maybe they won't care as much because Dragon controls bottom, but no, they're giving him everything still.
They're still focusing him entirely down. They do not want to let him get going because they know AmaCutiePie needs to get strong if he wants to take down Sicko Scott.
And we see Otter's already picked up that Lizard Elder item as well, so he is getting those kills under his belt. 1-0 and 2, the 2-0 and 1, and those no deaths keeping Team Summon on the Rift and more experienced up for sure. See a lot of level 8s and level 10s coming out here as they may engage this one from the side of Dignitas, but it's still a back and forth on the siege.
And AmaCutiePie used his collateral damage Graves ultimate just to clear that wave. That puts down their fight threat a lot and basically says the next wave is going to be the one that goes down, because once you lose that type of pressure, you have to worry about tower dives.
Keeping the pressure on that for the tower dive chat, but look at this. Skara and Sicko Scott kind of going cat and mouse here right around the bush. He goes to mid, and they can go top for this.
And if Nocturne went right now, they actually might be able to get a kill on them because they don't expect it.
They actually just pinged out Diana, so they know she's coming. They have to be wary of how far they go in if they're going to come back to the fight, but it's going to be all onto Otter. He gets under the turret. The Wild Growth is there. Is the damage as well. The buckshot misses. Very low mana here for Dignitas as Hecarim comes from the backside. A double kill. What is Sicko Scott going to do with this 4v1 situation? He throws himself into the fight. He doesn't get the first one. The shockwave goes down. He does finally pick up one. Go onto it. Oh no, that was actually going to be Captain Korea rather as he comes from the backside. Double for him. Can the burn be enough? The heal comes out. Captain Korea taking 2, 3 turret shots, 4 turret shots, and he's forced out as he came to lane with full HP.
Oh my god, Riv. 2 for 2. Nothing to see here, everybody. That was totally a fair trade for everyone. It was a really well-timed gank from Dignitas because they realized as soon as they saw Sicko Scott in mid, Scar knew he had the window for them to get a 4v2 gank, but because they dove the turret so hard, and Sicko Scott is a really fast horse, they got right back up there, manned up 4v2 against a weak team who'd already burned their ultimates, and got 2 kills back.
And now it's a battle of who can build more Spirit of the Elder Lizards. 2 for one Kiwi Kid, 1 for Crumbs, 1 for Sicko Scott coming in on Hecarim, and the blue build for Otter. Seeing a lot of love in this game for that item.
We're all tied up as far as Lizards go. Crumb's trying to pick up another one for himself here if he can get the red buff going down, but oh man, this is still looking pretty good for Team Summon, and I think they just had that huge brawl over the top lane turret, and now they're turning their attention to Dragon.
And Otter single-handedly pushing this turret. Patoy really not able to do much. Look, he's going to get the tank from Sicko Scott. He says, let's do this, man. We have enough. There's Captain Korea on the back side, and that is such a scary engagement. They're going to push that engagement all the way to Dragon here.
And 3 turrets to 0. Either Dignitas has to get a turret back right away, or they have to get Dragon control like they had in Game 3. Because if they're giving up all these turrets and the Dragons, they're maybe putting themselves in too deep of a global gold hole.
You're right, chat. They did have at least the Dragons in their favor last time. We'll see if they can still find a way to pull back. Batoy getting the early pink wards out around the top side of the map, and he is going to allow Cutie Pie to farm out a little bit safer.
And I'm clicking around these turrets that Team Summon has, and they're all sitting at pretty much full health. So Dignitas hasn't been able to get a hit really on many of these turrets. They're down 3 turrets to 0 with almost no counterattacks.
So Skara really figuring out there where his damage stands. He went all in alt onto Sicko Scott there and saw that he was about 60% HP, so that you can see they're scared about this. We don't have the burst. Now Samurai's here. He's even tankier. This is a very wary engagement. No, Skara goes in. He knows the team's on the backside. The crescendo now to Captain Korea, and they have obliterated. Crumbs coming through with 2 kills for himself.
Really aggressive play by Scar, showing why he was selected to the All-Star team that time. He manned up despite having 3 turrets in the back and then baited the Dragon kill without Crumbs even having to use his ultimate, which he uses now.
Did connect the Q. He gets in with his ulti. He's going to throw the shield down and try to help himself out. Locust able to save himself by mitigating all that damage with the knockup. But that is going to be that down. And look, they're coming around again.
And Dignitas really needs to get some turrets in this window. Sure, they picked up the 2 kills, but they got to get something back. And Otter is on the hunt, so they're still really not playing the turret game.
Otter could shift in on this if he can dodge the Q. You can see Skara putting down the shield. He thought he was going to take some good damage there. Back to the top lane. 119 for Cutie Pie and CS to 144 for Otter. And coming into almost a full item ahead, he's got 1,800 gold more.
And a lot of that has to do with the attention that Sicko Scott gave Otter's lane with the repetitive Hecarim ganks being 1 step ahead of Crumbs, while Crumbs was actually spending a bit more time farming. Because it's actually the difference we've seen in all these junglers. Sicko Scott camps lanes and ganks a bit more, whereas Crumbs will farm a bit more and then start ganking. So now's the moment with a couple of these kills that Crumbs is starting his ganking cycle. Let's see if the team is too far behind yet. And considering Dignitas is down 3 turrets and a dragon, that 2,000 gold advantage could come back fairly quickly if they start getting some things going for them.
They are going for the early Aegis for Crumbs this time, so he switches it up for a game 4.
And I think that has to do with Blob or Zac with the Orianna being the double AP composition, and also since Otter's Ezreal build isn't a huge amount of damage yet in the game, so he can get away without stacking a bunch of armor early and still dive in. It's another game where he's actually went from the Lizard back to the Golem as well.
Yeah, switching everything around. And like they said, they've done their homework. They know things feel comfortable, so they can switch back and forth in the variation. A little bit of damage here from Cutie Pie, back and forth. No turret yet. That is going to be the turret evener. Not evener, but a little bit on the gold if they can get it.
And Scar wants to pressure off this turret. He is walking through a ward, and if they wait too long, Captain Korea is going to be able to get there for the counter gank. So Dignitas actually pings fall back here, but they go anyway.
They are tunneling on this blue buff. It's going to be Grim Samurai going down. He swishes out into 4 blobs. Can
wow!
They finalize what just happened?
The Orianna was like a bloblet as far as how much damage they put on it, and it just exploded. That was a great spike by all of Dignitas to finish that one off. 2 for 0 and a turret.
I turned to commentate what was happening, and nothing was happening.
It was just gone.
5-6 is the score here, as it doesn't look like Team Summon is grabbing kills, but they are. Just Dignitas is grabbing them quickly, and now it's Dignitas kind of having the answer game.
That is really good for Dig. The gold is actually kind of even, and this has got to be demoralizing for Team Summon right now because they had an edge. It looked really good for them to start forcing a game 5 here. Now Dignitas is on the upswing. After what happened last game, where there was a large Team Summon advantage and Dignitas just stormed back to crush them, they got to keep their heads in the game and make sure that doesn't happen again.
You got to look back at Crumbs. His new style, but style that he's taking on now is really facilitating that fuel of the game. The adrenaline when it comes into the team. 20-15 minutes is when you see Crumbs, and it's when you see the change.
And we might see it really take over if they get the next Dragon fight in their favor. Dignitas should put a little extra pressure down in the mid lane here, which will actually coincide with when the Dragon happens, trying to pull them back and forth. And once they get the turrets to 3-2, the advantage really isn't that crazy anymore, and they'll have that global pressure kind of back that they've actually been creating just off of positioning and experience.
So instead of going for deep wards, it seems like Summon is trying to counter that Nocturne with entry and exit wards on the jungle.
It could be almost like Dignitas trying to prey on Summon's inexperience, like Voyboy was talking about, where despite having the map presence, they haven't really been able to counter where Nocturne is coming from. Because Nocturne's been spending a lot of time in the mid lane or up top, and sure, they have deep wards in the Dignitas' blue jungle, but those are deep wards if the outer turrets are still up. Those are average wards, or base wards if you're not pushing the second turret, so they're not actually stopping Dignitas from making many plays with those wards.
The entries and exits are all still there for Dig, which means the fights are so much in their favor. That's a pretty good jump.
Didn't see that.
Didn't see that at all. Nope. Shock blast to push the bottom lane. They're going pretty hard on this. We see Dragon in 30 seconds. Looks like they're going to get as much of an advantage the positioning as possible here.
And I wonder if Dignitas is going to try to win this game before it starts, because if there's a clean initiation from Team Summon, it could be all over from Dignitas. It might be about whether Patoy lands a crescendo first, or whether Sicko, Scott, and Captain Korea pull off the Hecarim Orianna combo first. Who's going for the Dragon? Kiwi Kid's actually not even there. He's sitting back and actually waited for an item. He just got his Muramana transform as well, so if he can get to this fight in time, it's going to be pain.
He is making moves. A 20-minute Muramana here. We've definitely seen some quickly charged tiers within this series, and they are going to start heading towards that Dragon. It's going to be all about who's got those items. They're at about half power right now. Who is stronger at this point? They're trying to stay back on the side of Team Summon, and really, they're kind of letting Dignitas make the move here.
And now Scar is putting the dual pressure in the mid lane as well, trying to make sure that middle turret has to be defended, because Team Summon doesn't want to give up either of these objectives. Summon is a Dragon control team when they play well, so they are really forced into fighting this one.
Scar still backing off. He stays, though, to kind of push. They don't want it. They have Graves still in the bottom lane. They're a little too far for this, so they say it's not worth it right now. We are gaining a bit of a lead. This is a way to lose it as well.
And Dignitas doesn't have their middle turrets gone, so Team Summon actually...
Whoa!
Whoa! Patoy's flash initiate would be gone then, because he had to flash away from Zac there.
That was a huge gap closer that his team would have had to follow. So Grim Samurai playing the scary game and really forcing things out from Dignitas here. So you can see how much on edge they are about the next fight.
They're very cautious here. They know the initiation really matters in these situations, so they want to make sure they land crescendo on the right people, or they don't just give up the Dragon. They've been pushed back a bit, and they're walking straight through wards here. The Oracles is actually doing some work for Sicko Scott, so he's went really big. Jungler investing in the Oracles very early on here, and they really, really, really want the Dragon.
They are positioning to win this. It's the ward fight until everybody's out of wards. An Oracle on Sicko Scott, like you said, return on investment is giving them the positioning there, but Scar is pushing mid as well, kind of countering that Oracle's press. He does get forced on the flash, but again, nobody can follow up on the engagement of the teammate. Nocturne coming out. They go on to Grim Samurai. His passive should still be down from the last engagement, but they don't get the fear tether on. The ultimate coming in. They start to knock down Dignitas. This is not the fight they wanted, but Summon is having a ball right now. They're going to get back into this one. It's going to be the fight onto Sicko. One more slash onto Scara. Spirit of the Dread takes him down. The shutdown goal for him. Otter on the outside. Chase has good damage, but the shockwave shocks him down. Takes him out. 8-7. Team Summon looks to go for Dragon. And
it's still a 3-for-1. Cutie Pie sitting at full health, though. He's going to want to keep fighting. This is very dangerous.
The Ignite goes down. Samurai may not fall. The ball goes on to him. So they're really thwarting the Dragon from even happening. Press the... Wow. Just wow by Team Summon.
Team Summon really wants to get the turrets off of this one, too. When that fight started, it was a big miscommunication by Dignitas. Scar actually made an amazing escape over to the Wraith Wall when they tried the initiation, but then Crumbs went in as well at the same time. So Team Summon failed an initiation, and Dignitas gave them a 4v5 because of it, and that's why Summon ended up fighting. For all the organization and posturing, that was one of the craziest panicky fights we've seen in a really long time, and it does favor Team Summon.
And it all came down to the moment that Patoy flashed. That gave TS enough momentum to say we can pressure and then engage the fight. Dragon could beat Diggs. They did stay down here.
And everyone has to worry right now. There's not ultimates up, so this is a very scary fight. There is a Scar whose ultimate's up. They're going for this Dragon Heart, and actually Team Summon's not quite in range.
Oh, it goes down to Crumbs. They had so much fun last time. They want to fight it out again. The ultimates aren't going to be up this time. It's all about the abilities and the auto attacks. Scar goes in, backs out. Collateral damage does not drop anybody. It's all about the pokes, and you can see without the significance of those ults from last fight, it's just back and forth.
Neither team had the lockdown to actually jump into that one, and I believe Dignitas was a little bit scared of maybe the Orianna ult, which had just came back up, maybe being there, but they got what they came for. That Dragon kill actually makes up for the 3-for-1 team fight, making the gold even overall, and since they got the turret, 750 gold up for Dignitas out of that exchange and a lead in the game.
And it's also going to be the Muramana coming out onto Otter. So a little bit of damage going back in their favor as that is buffed up. The Athenians right into the Zanyas. And I haven't really, I guess that's choice for him because he hasn't been the aggressed on one. It really hasn't been effective for him yet. It's just kind of the choice in build right now.
I think he has memories of the top lane defense where he exploded And he's like, I don't want to let that happen again. He's going zombies.
All right, fair enough. Kiwi Kid getting hit up pretty hard here. Sicko Scott and him go face to face. Nobody's really going to be on the backside of this. Locust, you stay out of the fight. But he's going to come and help. Unfortunate.
Kiwi Kid probably would have been happy brawling Sicko Scott if Locust hadn't been coming up from the side there. He could have powered him down with the Muramana, but at the end of the day, it's just a little bit of walk away from Kiwi Kid.
So the Iceborne Gauntlet as well being locked in by Otter. He's got 3 items under his belt to the 2 and looking to be Last Whisper coming in for I'm a Cutie Pie. He's got 200 gold, so he's not too far off of that. A few more waves for him and he'll be good to go. The Zonia's also finished up onto Skara, so he can be even more aggressive now.
And I'm still not really sure how to judge the power of this New Age Ezreal build when compared to other AD carries, because usually in games, we either say this Ezreal running away with it or way behind, and in which case it's like a great snowball build but does nothing in games you're behind on. So I want to see how it performs in this very close game against I'm a Cutie Pie's standard build.
And it looks like they could be going for Batoy. He flashes to save the Oracle, and that time they know he's going to be safe. They don't try to engage on that one. They wait for the second time around. So flashes down again for Batoy's engagement.
It really hurt Dignitas' ability to go in, but luckily they have Skara, who can maybe set up long enough for Batoy to walk in and land a good crescendo. Yeah. But we got to realize here, Skara is split pushing the bottom lane, and I'm a Cutie Pie is caught in a bit of no man's land. There's no teleport. There's the initiation.
They go for the Zac attack. They jump in for Let's Bounce. The Shockwave coming in as well, and Dignitas getting hit up quite hard. The turret goes down. To kill in a turret. They pressure the inhibitor.
Skara is still hitting that bottom turret. They might lose an inhibitor for that.
It's going to be the inhibitor turret for sure, Jet. 30 seconds on to Jason. Not enough power coming from Dignitas at all right now, especially without Skara. He is backing, and it looks like he was able to grab the turret. It is 1,000 gold lead for Dig, but these fights are so in favor of Team Summon right now.
Amazing split-second decision-making by Team Summon. They made that judgment call as quickly as possible and the only time in which it would work. Once they saw Skara down there, they made a call. I'm a Cutie Pie wasn't in position. They got the free kill, which granted them the inhibitor. 2 turrets plus an inhib, tons of map control back, and now the pressure is really on Dignitas.
And you can see how comfortable they felt. Turret does not equal Skara, right? They went in on that instantly. I don't think Skara is going to be leaving the team too much anymore. They'll leave that up to Kiwi Kid, leave Jace to split push, because that was a bit of a mistake. And
it's the extra danger you play when you're Dignitas and you're kind of giving up some of those outer turrets. They were able to come back for it a little bit, but then as soon as they make a misstep, they lose inhibitors because they no longer have that safety net of outer turrets just set up. That middle inner turret was low before that dive happened, which made the push through even faster for Team Summon after they got the kill.
Team Summon, soon to be called Team Answer. They have an answer for everything that happened so far in the game, pulling themselves back into this one, 9-7 at 27 minutes in. 5-4 in turret still as that last one put them on top of the inhibitor turret, and they're still pushing Dignitas back into their lanes.
And this is not like game 2 where Team Summon had the Karthus Nasus and a really fast Baron. Their Baron is respectable, but definitely not incredibly fast. So if Dignitas is going to be a little tricky, they're more worried actually about the initiation in their own jungle than they are about Team Summon stealing Baron. But it doesn't mean that Team Summon won't be trying to use Baron as a significant threat.
See Scar returning to top lane, trying to get CS in 245 to 195 there, and you can see that being applied. He's already upgraded to Home Guard boots, like I said, Zonia's and Abyssal for the Zonia's and Athene. So he's going to be assisting the team more as well, instead of not selfish items, the items that he needs, but it's going to help.
And look at how aggressive Team Summon is being in here. Scar actually kind of wanted to go in that situation. Crumbs could ult at any moment, but Samurai jumps in.
He does, but he goes back out, and that's what Skara wanted. He gets the ult, and he gets it again to go in. He throws down the shield. This is the engagement that they wanted. It's right next to Baron as well, but it's going to be Sicko Scott to the back line. Can he stop him? The crescendo hits up 4 members out on the backside. There goes Sicko. Crumbs looks to go down as well, but I think he flashes out. Beautiful save there for him. The Tribush is in the favor of Dignitas. They have full vision with a ward there. Skara back into the fight. His ult was able to come back up throughout the entirety of this fight. Cutie Pie picking up a kill. They have to be careful. There is so much kite on Team Summon from Otter and Korea.
3 for 0 for Dignitas, but 3 people on Dignitas are flashing red. That fight was so amazingly close. Dignitas has to get back because the inhibitor minions are crushing down on a lot of their turrets. Look at that one going down. Great fight for Dig, but they cannot capitalize off of this.
That is one of the fights that Team Summon didn't want, but the result of the fight if they did lose it. That Dig has to go back. They have to strive for the base now, and it's going to be a good setup for Team Summon here. They know those fights can go for long engagements. They have the shield. They need to use it. They can protect Otter. He stayed in perfect position that fight.
Otter really got dove on hard that fight. He was able to stay safe, but he also wasn't able to finish anybody off.
That's
he could
true.
kite back
So low,
but he couldn't save the people who were diving in really hard. Grim Samurai's Bloblets were not able to be protected because Team Summon didn't have enough damage to stand their ground against the way Dignitas was assaulting them. Gotta say, Kiwi Kid was doing a huge amount of damage persistently in that fight. Now Cutie sitting in the back, picked up that double kill. His collateral damages are coming in to execute, which is actually what Chaox coined like a year ago. Cutie-Pie's not using him at the start of the fights. Instead, he's using it to assassinate, which is really nice.
Getting that burst damage down on the end of the fight is how they are trying to solidify their kills. Low mana bars here for both Cutie Pie and Patoy, so Dignitas playing slow. Cutie Pie actually just heads back to base. He's farming it up. He actually picks up his pickaxe again, so it looks like he's actually going an Infinity Edge on top of this.
So the pickaxe will be for a last whisper, as far as I can tell. Oh, I'm a Cutie Pie. So I was looking at the other pickaxe for him. I was like, hey, carrot pickaxe. Yep, that's got to be an Infinity Edge. So I'm a Cutie Pie's actually been staying somewhat safe in these fights, and I guess he's just going for that extra heap of damage.
Right. When he gets the armor magic resistance from the True Grit, he can get that 10 stack up. It's actually really hard to kill a Grave, especially with a full stack Bloodthirster. So Team Summon picking up Dragon, looking to close that gold deficit of 3,000 that Dignitas has in their favor. And I be on one person, may not. We do have 11,000 gold, and no, it's actually matched. Otter has more gold than I'm a Cutie Pie does, and he's 4-1 and 4, so props to Otter.
Yeah, it's quite a farm fest for him. 283 in 31 minutes is a very high number for an AD carry to reach, especially with the amount of team fights we've had lately into scattered play. I mean, 6 turrets to 4 means the map is not a safe place to be right now, especially with all the initiations we've been seeing from both teams.
And again, the lane wards coming out to give entrance and exit information, keep all the teams privy of what's going on. The one catch out right now is not an option.
If one person got caught, it may end the game or at least give a Baron. So that's one of the reasons they're all kind of grouping up. Both teams have very huge initiation potential. Crumbs' ultimate can come in from about 3,000 range away, whereas Grim Samurai's jump is 1,550. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can catch people, so they have to be very, very cautious.
And it's been super interesting to see how these teams have played throughout each game, because this is really one of the first times we don't get a full ultimate or a full global from either team. It's kind of a quasi with Nocturne.
It's just long range initiation.
Yeah.
It's not global initiation, but they're still providing a similar threat level, which is why these teams are kind of keeping their distance, just poking each other right now.
Absolutely the factor that's happening for both of them. You can see how bars aren't going down too much, and the Sona can definitely sustain a bit better to that poke war.
And Scar was actually going up top to try to clear out that wave in the top turret, but that would give Team Summon time to jump in. And now Scar actually wants to flank around the back and maybe get a team fight, because Kiwi Kid is landing a lot of Shock Blast combos on a Team Summon.
See what they can continue to do, chat. It looks like they will get Scar to go up top. They have backed him off, as you saw that they were losing aggression on the mid turret. He has the blue buff, so he's going to be able to clear this wave and get up to help. And it looks like Team Summon's going to pressure Baron.
It is on top of a ward, and they're just cleared it out. So
yeah,
Team Summon realizes, like, oh, yeah, no.
Oh, Locust,
Exactly.
that is so much damage. A good 400 shot coming in from Baron. They have to get out of that. And Dignitas would have been able to dictate that fight pretty cleanly from the backside if they wanted to, with all the poke we've seen coming in.
Especially because this is one of those Team Summon teams that doesn't melt Baron necessarily that quickly. This could actually be a chance for Dignitas to try to melt the Baron pretty quickly, because they know people went back to Dignitas, yes, but Toy has an Oracles, so they're more using this opportunity to get control of the area because they know there's Team Summon people that aren't there. He didn't kill that ward.
Nope, he didn't. But he has an Oracle, like you said.
Yeah,
he walks over
one.
that one. There is the ultimate coming out. They throw it on the Paranoia as well, so they can't see too much. There's Sickle Scott coming in.
Ooh.
He gets, no, it's going to go somehow to Cutie Pie in the burst there. They continue the fight. Scar takes out Sickle Scott. He was the first one there without his team. Grim is next, is the passive up. A great command shockwave on the team as well. Locks them down, and they are going to try and get back into this one. Captain Korea coming back in. That was actually the lockdown from Scar. The ball was off to the side. That was Diana coming in huge. Scar locking down the team. Dignitas continues on with all 5 members.
That's a 4 for 0 plus the Baron. I gotta say, the Crumbs ultimate, as Team Summon was trying to approach them, blacked out the vision. It means Sicko Scott had to go in completely blind, and the team didn't know what was happening. So yes, it was a smite battle. The Crumbs lucked out into winning because neither one actually won it. Cutie Pie got the last hit on it. Once the fight started, it was so scattered since Sickle Scott was panicking to get to the Baron that Dignitas really came out on top. There was a few things in that fight that were also ridiculous. Cutie Pie flashing the shockwave and then jumping back in for finish. and Scar's 4-man vacuum from Diana.
I thought that was a
Awesome
command
stuff.
shockwave. It's such a tiny spot that you could get that in. I was like, wait, the ball's over there. Holy crap, that was Scara. Amazing, amazing play, especially of when to know when to go in, when to come out, and when to get back in, because it's so confusing for a team to think they're going to get a kill and then be in the wrong position 1 second later.
That might have been the play that grants Dignitas a berth into the summer split, because they've now grabbed the Baron buff. They've been fighting with an exposed inhibitor for the past 10 or so minutes, but they got Baron buffs on the whole team. Nobody died in that last fight. Lock of the Iron Solari, as you said, was completed on a Crumb, so it gives them a bit more diving potential. They might look to get a huge advantage here.
Lich Bane onto Scar. He gets a nice burst in damage as well to structures. So once they do take the next fight, they are going to have these turrets in their favor very quick. Baron chugging on them as well. So they're going to be looking to push down on these lanes and go probably the Dignitas 3-lane push.
They might be doing something like that, but with how much initiation potential Team Summon has been able to throw at them, that's not what we've been seeing in this game.
That's true.
This game has been very much about just team
They're
fight
They're trying to get to the lanes, and you always see Scara come back.
It's been Team Summon actually trying to out-pressure Dignitas and not quite pushing them over the edge.
And the Black Cleaver now coming in for Kiwi Kid on this one. Really going to help out I'm a Cutie Pie with his burst damage. That AoE you can get from Buckshot, like you said, the finisher in collateral damage if you use it for the execution. At 36 minutes, Dignitas has found quite a lead now, 14-9 in kills. They are still down a turret, but that's kind of been the story of the game. They have everything else, but they don't have the turrets just yet.
They still need to get turrets catching up, and they still haven't broken the seal of the base yet. They need to be able to get those outer turrets down, or the inhibitor defending turrets down, and then eventually inhibitors. And this is actually a very slow use of the Baron thus far. Dignitas trying to get control back in the map, because they only got about 90 seconds of the Baron left, and it's actually, they're trying to do the 3-lane push with Scar in the bottom lane.
So they do go back to it. Grim Samurai can make his way from lane to lane with that elastic slingshot quite often. Looks like he's going to walk this one out. Scara is not showing himself. He's going to put himself now to golems and see if they get deterred from farming this battle.
So no one on Dignitas is at 6 items yet. So the farming advantage is still kind of helping them. They've been able to gain a couple thousand extra gold advantage just off of having the Baron. Even if they didn't take total control of the game, they've given themselves quite an edge. And this is exactly the 3-lane push. They're trying to get down as many turrets as possible, maybe even take out a dragon. It'll be very interesting to see if they try to make a dive with this Baron buff.
Oh man! It is only going to be Sicko Scott coming down this one. Where's the rest of the team? Oh, is he too early this time? There's no Nocturne ulti, so Team Summon knows exactly what's happening. If they can still engage, and they are running after this one. The shots go through, the gate isn't enough, and it looks like Batoy's gonna go down as well. Not getting away from that fight. Big kills coming in.
But Scara is trying to do some work on the bottom lane. Grim Samurai going on him as well. Nocturne approaching.
He is so big. Here comes Nocturne from the left side. They get Grim Samurai. The passive is not up. That means they are right onto the turret with this wave that's just behind them if they want. But it's going to be Team Summon come down to guard.
Team Summon really repelling that Baron push well. They come out of it 3 kills for 2. They initiated at just the right time, caught I'm a Cutie Pie out of position, and that's Baron gone. At the end of it, Dignitas does have the 8,000 gold advantage, and they're actually at risk at maybe losing their inhibitor again.
Cutie Pie does not have the safety he usually gets out of the champions he plays. And you can see how Sicko Scott took advantage of that, face rolling into both him and Batoy. The team wasn't even there for a good 5 seconds, but he managed to do his job and keep him there.
He was way ahead, but he knew he was safe for it. And this is Crumbs and Scar dangerously trying to hold off Otter from getting this. Scar goes in, wow!
Holy macaroni, there goes Otter's HP, and it looks like he gets dropped down with one more hit. The Zonius is there. Could Scar get out? His flash is not up from that engagement. Oh, there it is, the execute collateral damage right to the side of Captain Korea's temple, and it looks like they chase Locust. There's the speed. Nocturne ulti coming right back up. The terror goes down. The terrible dreams come in, and so does Scara for the kill.
And that's 3 45-second death timers now for Team Summon. Dignitas gonna rush down the mid lane. One of the things about that Ezreal build is you have a whole bunch of armor. You have no room for magic resistance, and Scara just made him pay for doing that, closing the gap, and now Dignitas wants to push back. Let's see if they can avoid the fate that Team Summon just suffered.
Turret diving, turret tanking. Look at Crumbs getting heals there. That's the 5th shot he's now taking, and it's going to be the inhibitor going down. Dignitas has already lost theirs. Remember that Team Summon was in the base. They took down that, or they hit up on that inhib. They just weren't able to take it yet. They're going to back out here. Dignitas now with a big upper hand and 12,000 gold.
Something crazy is going on with the Spectator today. I assure you that is Baron buff gone. The Baron buff is actually gone on Dignitas right now, so they haven't had it for any of these fights, even when Scar was back for the base defense here. So Dragon taken by Dignitas, gold lead extended, and they've gotten the inhibitor. Big plays.
We'll see what they can continue to do. When they did have the Baron, they utilized it perfectly. Now waiting 50 seconds for that to come back up. We'll have to see. Dignitas really doesn't need to pressure whatsoever. They have way too much control to even need to do that. It's going to have to be a move made from Team Summon here, because Dignitas is controlling everything.
And a lot of it has to do with Scar's 600 ability power. Being able to take out the blue Ezreal. I'm a cutie pie actually baiting a bit in. Dignitas could be in a bit of trouble if they don't kill him.
That did not work like it did last time.
That did not work as well. Sicko Scott's had a whole game of bullying around, and here comes Crumb.
They find him just a ward. Crumb says, I'm on this one, don't worry about it. We got Locust too. Dignitas looking good. The base is going to be open for them in a 5-3 versus.
That Lich Bane plus 620 ability power build from Skara is blowing people up, and there it is!
The crescendo on Captain Korea. He may go down. They are all on the Otter. There goes the AD carry. Team Summon is on their last breath. They bring it out. Here comes the Iron Lung. Dignitas in, and the train is rolling down the tracks.
And Cutie Pie waiting until the last second to finish the Blobbits. Looks like Dignitas is back in the summer split.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Dignitas fans, you can all breathe a sigh of relief. They have thwarted Team Summon from entering the LCS, and they look to try for first place once again in the summer split.
Big smiles coming out from Kiwi Kid. Relief from Crumb's mental exhaustion for these guys, but they have requalified. No worries.
Dignitas having what it takes through all of the game's experience, a huge factor here. We talked to Velocity at the end of their games when I did the interview with the Odd One's brother and whatnot, Maple Street, and they said, this is our first best of fives, and I learned myself in this best of five. Dignitas was able to find themselves again and find their spot in the LCS.
They actually had 2 come-from-behind victories for both wins 3 and 4, so they really showed some perseverance there. Scar looks really relieved right now, walking off, and I think Team Summon as well does have a pretty good window if they continue to play on the amateur circuit, because to give Dignitas a run like that, who was 3rd place team in the regular season before the playoffs started, really shows a lot of strength as a team.
So a 15,000 gold lead helps to execute the win, but this kill, the fight at Baron for Dignitas was also huge. We have a quick replay of that.
Yeah, this fight at Baron was one of the big turning points. I mean, the smite there could have went either way, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. And then the fight itself, there's a couple plays in this fight we have to pay attention to. Skara going in while his team is re-engaging and popping the Zonies to confuse them. Then you think Cutie Pie's getting caught in the shockwave, flashes out, and then quick draws back in right away to be able to finish the cleanup. Just team fighting skills coming out from Dignitas there won them that fight.
As soon as Skara came out of that Zhonya's, he did a no-look behind the back 4-person queue, shredding down the hell. Like, everything, like you said, happened perfectly for them in that fight.
They fought their way in with that fight, because that really could have went either way, from the Baron smite to Cutie Pie somehow finishing it to all the clutch plays in that fight.
And it really was practice, trials, tribulation, the preparation, and the ambition. Dignitas didn't come out with the same strat every time. They pulled out some Nocturne. They pulled out the Rammus Jace. Amazing to see that, you know, teams are trying to execute new strategies.
Crumbs came back from the break with Rammus, Nocturne. Kiwi Kid, big props, came back with Jace.
Yeah.
I mean, Cutie Pie pulled out Graves for the first time in a really long time. They prepared well, and it paid off.
Well, Dignitas opened up the champion pool. Everybody's diving in because now they're back into the LCS.